Hey guys, welcome to another weekly video on anime or manga. This week we're going to be talking about why you should read Berserk. Now, first things first, why do I look so nice today? Great question. I had an interview. This is probably the nicest you'll ever see me dressed. I don't really like to get dressed up, especially during the summer. It gets hot, but that's not what this video is about. So let's go ahead and get into it. Why I think that you should read Berserk. So Berserk for me personally was a manga that I didn't really watch the anime. So if you are gonna watch it, I have a good friend who this is his favorite. Guts is his favorite character, and he's gonna recommend that you watch the '97 anime. The recent anime, I've even seen glimpses of it. It is ugly. Don't watch it. You could watch the movies of Berserk. They're solid. They don't go over the whole picture. But yeah, if you're gonna watch it, go that route with the '97 anime adaptation. If not, please read it. Please read it. And I'm gonna get into why you should read it. But yeah, the reason I decided to finish Berserk, it's not done, but why I decided to finish up to where it is now, is because of the passing of Kentaro Miura. Miura. I'm just gonna refer to him as his first name. He did pass away recently. It's very upsetting, and I'm going to kind of get into what's upsetting about his life's work with Berserk, but also what made him such a great mangaka as well. So let's just jump into it. What do we know about Berserk? You see these two pictures up in the top. I think I'm just going to do that for all the videos because why not? But Guts, he's an amazing character. I'm using motivation in my own writing from him. He's someone that is just so motivated, and even sometimes he doesn't know why. He's the most human character there is. He was a man born among hanged people. It's a very dark manga too. I love dark manga. I love when things get gritty and when there's blood and guts. But he was literally born among rotting flesh, and that's why they called him Guts. He was raised as a mercenary, but that's not where the story begins. The story actually begins more in the future than some of his past, which they'll get into. At first, you just meet him and he's a very angry person. He kills demons and he's pissed about it, and you really don't know why. And I think a lot of people stop with Berserk there, and that's all they see. They see a very upset human killing demons, and it's cool, but if you're not about the blood gore aspect of it, you might quit on the show there. You might quit reading it there, but I promise you that it not only gets better, but it's going to shatter your expectations. And that's something that happened with me as somebody who constantly picked it up and put it down, picked it up and put it down. There was some point when I picked it up, which I'll get into a little bit, that I couldn't put it back down because of how good it was. There are arguments about what the best arc is, but I don't think there's much of a debate, but we'll get into that in a sec. Going back to Guts, he's actually a kind-hearted person, and that can be tough to realize until he's around other people. I don't think Guts by himself, now this might be a different opinion, could carry it by himself, and the reason for that is he's quiet. There's not like a lot that you'll be able to see about him unless other characters kind of put that into perspective, which comes much later. But he's very real. And if you go through what he's been through with his abilities as a human being, you'd be like, this guy gets it, because he's on a pack for revenge. He's a very vengeful person, and he's doing that because he's kind-hearted, which is kind of tough to tell when he's just killing not only people, because he doesn't care. He will kill people, demons, it doesn't matter. He's going to kill them. And that brings me to the best arc. No debate, people. The Golden Age arc. And why is the Golden Age arc the best? This is when we finally go back in the past and see what Guts has been through. Now, I'm not going to spoil a lot because I'm telling you to read it. So I'm not going to spoil everything. But it basically walks you through kind of his childhood, being raised as a mercenary from super young. Because when he was born, like I said, among the flesh, they raised him as a mercenary. A mercenary group took him on. And he, like, from a very, very young age, started working with the sword, which is why everyone's impressed later on that he can wield such an enormous blade, but it's because he's trained for so long and he's straight up a beast. I mean, that guy is insane. I'd put him up against so many other swordsmen from other anime, but that's beside the point. The real reason I like the Golden Age arc, like I said, is because it brings in so many other characters. I almost said one. Casca, Corcus, Pippin, Rickert. There's a lot more, but the Band of the Hawk. So when the Band of the Hawk all comes together and Guts actually loses like his first one-on-one. I mean, it's debatable, but in my opinion, like the first time, like his eyes open and he's like, oh my god, like this guy just kind of kicked my butt. And you realize that when you go into the past, that guy looks kind of familiar. I won't really spoil that, but he is a very important character for the entire series, and the direction that they were going with him was something that I was gonna love seeing. The Golden Age arc, though, it brings in all these people and shows the human aspect of Guts. Someone who was raised with a mercenary camp, without a mother or father. He had father figures. He had these people in his life, but they always let him down in different ways, in very gruesome ways that hopefully you'll read about. If you want to skip to the Golden Age arc, you can. You can. I don't recommend it, but if you want to be like invested, that's where you're going to get invested. But it does a very great job of showing you why Guts is the way he is, how he finally starts to let down his barriers and the mistake that is. I don't want to spoil anything, but the most not anticipated, the most like important scene or what everyone remembers from this is the eclipse. I won't spoil anything from that, but it's amazing. And that kind of brings me to what I want to talk about with Kentaro, and it's him as a mangaka might be the best artist of all time. Many of the people that would work with him would be upset that he would take too long because of his constant shading. I'm going to make this picture bigger, screw it. This picture, the detail it goes into even just a simple picture like that for that man is insane. And if you watch him draw, it's actually crazy. And some of the panels that he does are amazing. He shades well more than even he might need to, but just that aspect, even when you see it, like when you finally grab one of his books and open it, it is a masterpiece. It is. Now, there's a lot of manga that I love. I love One Piece, but early on One Piece is like not super artistic, right? We're not going to be seeing these crazy things, but Berserk the whole way through, this man is shading like levels and levels above the competition. He is insane with what he does as a mangaka. The monsters he draws, the creativity that he brings, even just to that aspect. Some of the creatures and monsters that he creates in this are otherworldly. Like, that guy had to be on something, because some of the stuff he draws is amazing. Rest in peace, my man. You did a great job. I'm gonna bring up kind of where we left off with it, because Berserk is sadly one of those manga that is not finished. The author has passed, and that is very sad. And a lot of people are debating what's going to happen next. With that, I'll get into that in a second, but bringing up other things about Berserk that's awesome, because a lot of people only really know Guts from Berserk. There's not like a lot more going on with people, but there is different things. Like, if you like romance, it's there. It's there in small pieces, but it's there. If you like villains, the God's Hand. Now, the God's Hand is made up of 5 people, obviously. 5 people, because it's a hand at first. But they make like different appearances, and it's very like spiritual. The world is very mystical. There's witches and witches. There's witches, there's magic. There's a lot of stuff going on here that is just so impressive and entertaining. The Berserker armor, I won't spoil it, but my goodness, is it a awesome enchanted weapon. And with the world that Berserk offers, it's so vast and it's so large. And when I picked it up the last time, when I heard about Kentaro's passing, I finished it all the way through. I did about like 80 chapters. It was the most recent arc with I don't want to spoil anything, but they go out to sea, and you should see the ship he drew. If you just look up Berserk ship drawing, dude, I'm like, how does this not take you a full month? How are you like getting this out in time? And obviously there's a lot of other people working on it as well, but that man is a very hardworking individual. The Falcon of the Millennium Empire is when Griffith kind of comes back into the picture, and that's our main villain. So that's what was really interesting, is at the beginning you're kind of confused on what's going on, but as you get into it, once the golden age hits and you're invested, it just keeps digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And then we reach like this point where you realize how invested you are based on how sad certain parts make you. Don't want to spoil. I even have some in my notes where I want to spoil, but I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to spoil anything. You just need to read it. Guts has a lot of companions along the way. He even takes a mentorship role for another swordsman. I don't know really how to say his name. Isidro? Isidro, we'll call him. A little guy. There's Puck. I'm not a big fan of the whole fairy stuff. They get into that kind of towards the end. That's actually where it ended off. They were with the witches and like the fairies and stuff. But Skull Knight's an awesome character. I love when he makes an appearance. He's about it too. He's like, Guts, man, I feel you. I feel you, because we got the same thing going on. But the demonic, like, it's so demonic. And I'm usually used to more of like a traditional manga, a Naruto, a One Piece, where it's not even necessarily simply straightforward, but you're not seeing these demons pop out of nowhere, monsters pop out of nowhere, defiling corpses, killing men, women, and children in villages, burning them alive, and it's like, my goodness. But then when this guy comes in hacking and slashing them, that's when it's all worth it. That's when it's looking good. So I don't want to spoil anything. But the rest of this video, I'm going to be telling you where I think the direction where it was going to go. So if you're going to read it, which you should, stop right here. That's enough time. Okay. Falconia. Griffith has created an empire, something that he has envied his entire life, his castles, as growing up as a commoner. Now he has the large castle, the large empire that he wants. And the saddest part to me about Kentaro's passing is I see the direction he was taking. I see it, and we were close to fruition. I don't know exactly what he was going to do with that weird boy, man. Like, weird dude. You know that little boy? It's the last... Now, he probably started the next chapter, but the last chapter written, that's the last panel, I believe, is that little naked boy with the long hair, and Guts is right there. And obviously something really big just happened. I'm not even going to spoil that in the spoiler section just because of how big it is. But I see where it's going. And Guts is only getting stronger. And what amazed me about the last like 80 chapters that I read after his passing was that Guts continues to amp it up. I was like, he's still kind of a human. Like, he's not going to be able to compete, and he's still amping it up. The Berserker armor helps, and he's run into the, who is it? The Forge Master of who made the armor. And then I'm like, well, what else is going to happen here? We're in Fairyland where, like, kind of anything's possible. We can get some magic going. But that man is literally going to march right up to Falconia, which is amazing. And Rickert slapping Griffith is crazy, especially with Rickert knowing what they knew. That's insane. And then they escaped. So like all the people are finally coming. They're gonna come together, and then they're gonna go raid Falconia. Now at this point they don't stand a chance, a snowball's chance in hell. But I'm telling you, once he kills the rest of the God's Hand and goes straight for Griffith, the end, all the set pieces were there, which makes my heart break, because I'm like, Kentaro, we were so close. Rest in peace, my man. I believe that this series will continue. Do I have any facts to back that up? No, but I am a believer, and I hope it continues. I love what they're doing. I love a lot of their characters. Serpico, Fairness. They have some interesting names. How do you say that one? Shirk. But you got your witches. You got that one chick who's just learning magic, which is Farnes. Serpico is like kind of coming out of nowhere. Like, that guy's legit, and even Guts like, dude, you can kind of keep up. And then obviously Casca. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm gonna end off. You should read Berserk because of these reasons. If you have to skip to the Golden Age, do it, because the first little bit might throw you off a bit, but I promise you it's worth it. I promise you the art. If you love the art, I mean, I can't tell you enough about these pictures. They are fantastic. Now that other one might have more detail, but just the cell shading and everything that he does with drawing these characters is amazing. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, then like it. If you like me, then subscribe. I'll put my Twitter, Discord, which might be a bad idea that I'm going to start putting that on YouTube, but who knows. And what's the last one? Twitch. Did I say that? Twitch, Twitter, Discord. I'll put them down below. Subscribe if you like it. We'll be back next week. I don't know what we're doing. probably want to get into One Piece here shortly, but we'll see. Read Berserk, people. Peace.